So now I'd like to introduce Linda Ricci. She's a strategy consultant at Decahedralist. Um, and she's always loved musing, pondering, and meandering through the wide-ranging and quickly morphing subject of emerging technology. Wrote your thesis on VR or something like that? Or?
I wrote my grad school application in 1989 on future commercial applications for VR and world building, which comes back today.
Yeah, so professionally, she's a dot connector, delivering strategic thought leadership and innovative business solutions when disruptive technologies are transforming consumer behavior. But when she's not doing that professionally, she's doing some interesting artistic things, and we're going to hear about that now.
That's quite a mouthful. I have to rewrite that, I think. I don't know. Welcome. Glad to be here. Over the holiday break, I rented a room scale HTC Vive from Hello World Communications down on 22nd Street for 5 full days, and I really wanted to explore what creating in virtual reality tilt brush was like. Now, I've been an artist across many mediums, from the most Luddite and old school to, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I did actually. All right, well, I'll keep talking. But this is the first time I'd actually done it in a 3D space in VR. So that was the mind shift that I was trying to get my head around. I'm really screwing this up. All right. So it was my VR vacation. It was 5 full days. I did nothing but VR for 5 days. I didn't eat, barely. I barely slept, and I definitely didn't wash. I had a blast. It was a lot of fun. 5 full days, that's my schedule. I shove some food in there once in a great while. And I want to stress that although I am an experienced 3D artist across, CAD, all of it, this was the first time I'd done something like this. So first, I want to talk a little bit for those in the room who are not completely familiar with what is room scale VR. And basically what it is it's a commitment. You need to have, the VR headset, which is connected to the computer. You need to have the 2-hand controllers so you can interact. You have these things mounted on your wall, except in my case, I want a tripod which kept shaking. And you need to be able to look a little silly while you do it. That was my boyfriend. And what is Tilt Brush? Well, it's a VR drawing program. And you get to stand in a completely empty room. It's a blank canvas, and you get to use ribbons of paint to draw virtual things around you that are in 3D. You actually get to stand in the middle of what you're making, and that is what is so much fun about it. It truly is a magical experience. As an artist, I think that each medium has something that is particularly suited for. So when you go from clay to graphic design to CAD, those are completely different. You can have the same design sense, but it does change. So I was trying to figure, these are some of the things I've done in other mediums. I was trying to figure out what was the special sauce that Tilt Brush had. So my first try was very mundane. I decided to make a fish. And I spent a lot of time being really precise, trying to make it perfect and layered, and I wasn't having very much fun. And I think the reason I wasn't having fun was I was trying to be really perfect about it. And from a CAD perspective, I was trying to create an object, a solid, and that's not the way to do it. So the mind shift that had to happen is from creating a perfect object, it's very precise, to actually moving to creating worlds. You have this whole space, and here I was making an object. Why was I doing that? So I decided I needed huge squids flying from the sky. I don't know why. I was hooked on squids. I made these little tiny squids, and I blew up to huge. I made a planet, and everything was cool, but it really still wasn't the experience I was looking for, though I felt like I was starting to get there a little bit. So I looked around my room. I have a poster from the Smithsonian. It's a picture of a 16th century Persian miniature that I happen to love. I go, I'll make a Garden of Eden. Why not? So here's my Garden of Eden. I started with a pergola. I felt like I was starting to get the hang of it. It was really loose strokes, nothing too precise. Things were sparkling. I was having a great time. Decided to make myself a date, because who wants to be alone in a pergola in a Garden of Eden, right? So I started sketching the sky. And the way to do it in tilt brushes, instead of actually trying to make it perfect, you kind of do the outline. You cover it with paint strokes, and then you delete the guidelines. So here's my handsome date. I spun his turban around. It was a lot of fun. And then I started to let go, and I really started to have fun in this. And I let go of all precision, and I just started making huge strokes of things and making things big. I made these birds, which I think were the best thing I did, and I didn't care if they really looked like birds. They were bird-like. It was good enough. I copied them all over the place. I made this huge planet. You could stand inside, because why would you stand outside a planet? I stood, you're inside it like Pellucidar. And then I started making dark matter swirls. I was having the time of my life, but unfortunately my 5-day rental was up at this point in time, so I had to stop. But I had a great time, and I think there was a lot of progress. And the mind shift is to think about environments. So the insight for the artist is, this is truly fun if you let go. You think big. Thing is, it's a lot like karaoke. It's much more fun, and you get much better results if you don't try to be too good at it. Basically, just draw loosely and think about environments as opposed to objects. I thought it was really interesting to watch myself, that I was like trying to sculpt something in front of me instead of being in the middle of it, which is the point of VR. For the developers in the room, I think, I have a little time for this. For the developers in the room, I think there is a lot of opportunity. I am an artist. I would love to be able to play with lots of different things. And there are things out there that I didn't try, but it's in such an early stage. So we really need more variety and more things out there for people to try. Interoperability between formats would be awesome. I would love to be able to create something in CAD, bring it into Tilt Brush, make it pretty, edit it, go print it, do things like that. Couldn't do it. For the business people, the killer app is still not here. We're still developing the vocabulary and the language and the experience. And there's just a huge amount of space to get involved, so I hope everybody really does, and we advance this, and there's so much more to do. And there's so many opportunities outside of gaming. I was really disappointed that I couldn't find a whole lot outside of gaming that I'd like to do. And that was it, and you can contact me there. Thank you.
Linda Ricci, thank you. How lovely to get the experience of an artist trying this new technology for the first time and really jumping in with both feet and doing it intensively for 5 days. So I think that should be inspiration to any of you out there who are wondering how to do it. Linda went and rented it, and she just did it. She put aside this time in her calendar and made it happen.